Welcome back to What Are We Talking About? I'm Ben Lewis. Every day we are bombarded with headlines, outrage, talking points designed to tell us what to think. But here we like to take a step back, ask questions, challenge the narrative, and examine the biggest stories in politics, culture, sports, and faith through a Christian conservative worldview. If you're tired of media spin and ready for honest conversation grounded in truth, common sense, and biblical principles, you're in the right place. This is What Are We Talking About? Let's get into it. All right, I got to talk about this since I am the foremost informant of WNBA information, because I am such a huge WNBA fan that in the last month, I'm going to have 2 episodes that deal with the WNBA. But have you seen where Enes, Kanter, and Royce White have declared for the 2027 WNBA Draft? Insert LOL here, laughing cry face. Okay, so to catch you up, in case you've been asleep, Sophie Cunningham a few weeks ago said girls belong in girls sports, boys belong in boys sports. And of course, the liberal, left-leaning, all-inclusive, except for if what you want to include is Christian values, WNBA, begins to full-on attack her from the inside out. Not the players, okay? This is what's funny. They would have you believe that the players are mad at Sophie Cunningham. I've not seen one player come out, but the coaches and the league. So the coaches who coach in the WNBA. What does the W stand for? Women's NBA. What's a woman? Who knows anymore if you're left-leaning. I think us on the right and with Christian values know XXXY. Ask Riley Gaines. But they want to come out in these press conferences and shout from the rooftops that we include everybody. Exclusion is not our policy. We would include men in the WNBA, essentially is what they're saying. Because they're saying they would include trans women, I believe is, sometimes I get that backwards. Like if a man is a woman, I don't know. If I'm saying that wrong, then, forgive me. But they would include trans women, which are men, in the WNBA, okay? You've got a coach that says trans kids need love too. If you listen to my last episode, kids that are dealing with gender dysphoria definitely need love. They don't need affirmation. They don't need confirmation. They need love. They need listening. They need compassion. Okay, so yes, trans kids need love too. Yes, absolutely. But here's where they've painted themselves into a corner, because the WNBA Players Association came out and said that they are in support of all in the world, okay? As Q-Tip said with Tribe Called Quest, white, black, Cuban, Puerto Rican, or Haitian also includes in the WNBA PA's view, trans, and obviously, homosexual and the whole LGBT mafia. So they came out and said they were in support of it, because I think that they thought they would never actually have to back that up. But now what's happened is you've got Enes Kanter Freedom, I guess is his last name now, Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White, who have declared themselves eligible for the 2027 WNBA Draft. If these 2 guys were in the WNBA, they would put up Hall of Fame numbers. And that's no knock against the females that play for the WNBA. It's just biologically, men are different from women. Biologically, they're different, okay? I mean, if you haven't seen the reports of Lonzo Ball and Michael Porter Jr. talking about being freshmen and playing against, seniors in a collegiate level basketball and dominating them, because, as a 9th grader, Lonzo Ball is over 6 feet tall and dunking the ball, which is not anything that's happening in the WNBA. These guys are going to dominate the WNBA. But here's where I'm watching. Here's where the entertainment value is in it for me. Not that I'm like, egging people on. Not that I'm like rooting against this side or the other. I'm for truth. I'm for backing up what you believe. Okay? The WNBA has said that they include all. Enes Kanter said he read the rules, and all the rules say is that you have to identify yourself as a woman. There's no physical features that you have to show. You don't have to have, like, some people may think, oh, well, you have to have long hair and fingernails and look like Angel Reese. No, it doesn't say that. There's a lot of WNBA basketball players that look more masculine than they do feminine, right? That's not a knock on them. That's just their appearance. So all you have to do, per the rules, is declare that you are a woman, and then you are eligible to play in the WNBA if somebody wanted to sign you. Here's where it gets tricky. Either the WNBA is going to have to come out and say, biological male at birth cannot play in the WNBA, or the only type of trans people we're accepting are those that have been medically fully transed, right? I mean, put your definition in here or whatever. They're going to either have to come out and say that biological at birth cannot play in the WNBA, which would mean man can't play in the women's NBA, or they say nothing. These two go in the draft. They obviously have higher athletic potential than any female coming out of college right now, and I don't think that there's one female that's going to go into the draft and think that they could beat Enes Kanter or Royce White in a one-on-one situation, okay? Height, physical, agility, it's just not even close. So either they're going to have to come out and say that men can't play, or they're going to put these two guys in the draft and potentially not draft either of them, even though athleticism-wise, they would be 1 and 2 out of all prospects. What does this sound like to me? Oh, I know what it sounds like. Let's turn the clock back to the 50s and 60s and talk about Major League Baseball and the NBA, when you've got dominant black players that are going into the draft and not getting drafted based off what? Their athletic ability? No. They were far superior athletically in a lot of cases. Why weren't they getting drafted? Because they were black. Okay? So if Enes Kanter and Royce White go into this draft and don't get drafted, it won't be based off athletic ability. It'll be based off the fact that they're men. And if men aren't allowed in the WNBA, then the WNBA just needs to come out and say it. I'm watching this situation. I'm kind of enjoying the perceived squirm on the side of the WNBA. They're trying to position themselves as they won't be a political pawn. What's political? Because are you talking about right politics or left politics? Because right now, you are a full-on left-leaning political pawn. And you've come out and said that you would accept trans women / men into the WNBA. You've got two dudes that are world-class basketball athletes identifying, quote unquote, as women, and they're entering the 2027 WNBA draft. Let me tell you this. I couldn't tell you where the WNBA draft was televised in previous years, and I promise that the ratings were in the tanks because literally nobody cares except for the 4 people that comment on this podcast and say they do care about the WNBA, which I love that. I love your heart for it. It's not for me. But wait, watch, see, grab your popcorn bucket. This is going to get fun. Thanks for hanging out today. If this episode made you think or challenged your perspective or gave you something worth talking about, I'd really appreciate it if you'd help grow the show. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, leave a rating or a review, and share this episode with your friends and family. That's honestly the biggest way you can help us get these conversations in front of more people. If you've got thoughts on today's topic or ideas for future episodes, drop them in the comments. I do read them, and there's a very good chance they'll end up on a future show. I've been Lewis, and this has been What Are We Talking About? Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.